Okay, so this is crazy. Fox's X-Men versus Fantastic Four movie would have included Daredevil and Deadpool. It would have taken inspiration from Marvel's Civil War. Now, this comes from IGN, so pretty credible. There's a few different sources that are talking about this. This came out January 2nd, and I'm just talking about this now. So, let's go through the article. As reported by comicbook.com, the Bourne Supremacy's Paul Greengrass has confirmed that he was in talks with Fox about a never-made X-Men versus Fantastic Four film that would have featured Daredevil and Deadpool. Greengrass was speaking to the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast when he discussed that while he was approached for this project, it didn't go much farther than a discussion. They did talk to me about it. I would say I was attached. We talked and I thought about it, and in the end, nothing happened. As far as Daredevil and Deadpool appearing, this was actually confirmed in 2019 by Thor and X-Men First Class screenwriter Zack Stentz on Fat Man on Batman. Ashley Edward Miller and I, when we were working at Fox and we were working on X-Men First Class, we did a secret movie for them that I can't tell you what the plot was, but I could tell you that it is used all of the Marvel characters that Fox had at the time in 2011. Stentz revealed it used the X-Men, it used the Fantastic Four, it used Daredevil, it used Deadpool. Daredevil was still at Fox at the time. Now, correct, at this point, they were still making X-Men movies. They made the Fantastic Four movies. They still had the license to Daredevil. I don't think they were really using him. I don't remember when the Daredevil show came to Netflix and all the Defenders, but this is really interesting because just based off what it said at the beginning, this would pretty much take inspiration from Captain America Civil War, which is honestly one of my favorite movies, so I would have loved to see something like this. Let's go a little further though. Even though this movie never happened, Marvel recently confirmed that a Fantastic Four movie is in the works and is being helmed by Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home director John Watts. Original story follows, with the X-Men movie franchise singing its swan song with the release of Dark Phoenix, a report has come out from THR that back in 2010, Fox toyed with the idea of making an X-Men versus Fantastic Four movie, and I think that would have done numbers. According to THR's secret sources, Fox considered a Civil War-esque superhero movie crossover that pitted the Children of the Atom against Marvel's First Family. The battle was going to be ignited by Johnny Storm when he accidentally blew a hole in Manhattan after going supernova while trying to capture a Fantastic Four villain, Molecule Man, thus sparking the Superhero Registration Act in response to the devastation. So this is pretty much similar to what happened with Captain America and Scarlet Witch and the Sokovian Records. It's more than inspired, I feel like, but keep going. We're going to keep going. The hero would have been split into two sides and battled it out, with the matchup of Wolverine fighting Mr. Fantastic ending in shocking fashion. As THR tells it, the hero versus hero brawl ended with Reed Richards pinning Wolverine down, extending his hands until they're one molecule wide, and using them as scissors to cut the mutant's arm off. They grow back, right? The film would have ended with the heroes making peace and post-credit scenes teasing a Skrull invasion. Yes, the shapeshifters featured in Captain Marvel also featured in Secret Invasion that did not go well. So in another world, did Fox actually cook with Secret Invasion? Did Fox actually cook not putting these, or would they have cooked with putting these? Fox apparently tapped X-Men First Class screenwriters Ashley Edward Miller and Zack Stentz to write the script, and Bourne filmmaker Paul Greengrass was flirting with directing. Obviously, the plans fizzled out, and the movie never happened. First Class was deemed a success by Fox, so they decided to continue in that direction and make Days of Future Past instead. They're also mentioned that the renowned comic book writer Warren Ellis was commissioned for a story treatment on a different X-Men vs. Fantastic Four movie, but no details of that version were given. Would you have wanted to see a Fox X-Men vs. Fantastic Four movie? Yes, I would have. Now, in the original report that I saw, that, it's, definitely Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but I guess at the time, I'm just assuming at the time in 2011, this was Miles Teller was supposed to be the Mr. Fantastic. So, I mean, it does kind of add up because the movie came out in 2015, that Fantastic Four movie, so they would have cast it around that time, maybe 2012, around there. So, we could have potentially seen Hugh Jackman versus Miles Teller, which I don't think a lot of people would be happy with Miles Teller defeating Hugh Jackman in that way. But this is really interesting. Something that could have been really, really freaking cool. Could you imagine a Civil War type movie with the X-Men versus the Fantastic Four? Now, granted, the Fantastic Four movie was a bust. A majority of the X-Men movies were not that good. There was a few hits, And, judging by, what the story could possibly be, Civil War came out in 2016. So that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. I don't know, man. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, honestly. Could you imagine that? I don't know. A secret invasion, the scrolls coming in to kind of tease something with them. I don't know how that would have worked. Did Fox have the rights to the scrolls at that point? I'm just seeing this now. They didn't really mention this in the article, but Daredevil and Deadpool would be in it. It would make sense for Deadpool, but Daredevil, I don't know what side he would be on. Would he kind of be like a middle ground type of character? Who would be playing Daredevil? Would it be Ben Affleck? Because that would have been crazy. Matt, could you imagine? That's literally the multiverse. The Secret Wars now that we're, hoping for. And Deadpool at the time, Deadpool didn't come out until 2016. So yeah, I mean, this could have been really interesting. A lot of characters that we could have, got behind. Oh man, I wish they came more out with that, like what story they could potentially do. I mean, just say what you were going to do at this point. There's no neat read for this secretive stuff. We want to know what you were going to do, unless you think you're going to make it come out one day, which, nah, I don't think so. Reed Richards pinning Wolverine down, extending his hands until there's one molecule wide, and using them as scissors to cut the mutant's arm off. I don't think people would like that. I mean, maybe, I don't know at the time what people would think about it. I feel like they wouldn't, but over time they would not like that at all. This is pretty crazy stuff. Let me know what you think of this down below. Would you have wanted to see the X-Men take on the Fantastic Four? Or are you kind of glad they didn't go with this, where we could potentially see the X-Men versus the Fantastic Four in the MCU? Whatever mutants they decide to go with, whether they're bringing some back, whether Hugh Jackman stays as Wolverine, whether we have like a Henry Cavill Wolverine, or whatever Wolverine at the new Fantastic Four with Pedro and Vanessa Kirby and Ebon Moss and everybody, what would you have rather seen? Let me know that down below.